What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. Big Dog Brett, thanks so much for tuning in. Wednesday night live show. So glad you guys are here. All right, so I got my stash going. What's going on, James? What's going on, Sea Dog? Good evening, and whatnot. All right, you guys do me a favor. Go ahead and share this around Facebook, Twitter, Insta page, MySpace account there. Yeah, go ahead and hit that up for me. Much appreciated. What's going on? Not Just Rocks. Welcome back to the channel. We're going to be doing the. Got to get my Captain Morgan on right here, man, because it's almost that time. Woo! There we go. What y'all like the stash? There you go. Oh man, what an exciting last Wednesday. Oh yeah, I cannot wait. So let me go ahead and get I'm going to go ahead and get up the schedule for Saturday. I apologize. I was running a few minutes behind today. Got a little bit sidetracked, lost track of time. Thankfully, Keith shot me a text message and said, "Hey man, what is the dealy, yo? Why are you not on the air?" And I said, "Oh yeah, I'm supposed to be doing that." Shout out to BVD, sir. We hope you recover quickly. We certainly miss your personality on the airways. Let me fix that. For those of you who don't know, BVD went into the hospital for surgery. He had an infection apparently in his arm, but he is all good now, recovering. Has made a few statements here and there, but sir, we wish you health and a speedy recovery. Thoughts and prayers, and hopefully we'll see you soon. So yeah. All right. So real quick, still getting this pulled up for you. I know usually BVD has a stream going on right now, and I think looks like BVD is on the air. Let me check that real quick. Looks like it's loading up. Bear with me. All right, back to this. Yeah, I typically do it Wednesday nights. I'm probably going to be moving that to Thursday nights because it's kind of bumping into what BVD is doing, and I don't want to interfere with what he's doing over there. He's a good dude, so he's been doing this a long time. So I'm probably just going to move my show to like a Thursday night or something like that. So we'll go from there. All right, so let's talk about this upcoming schedule. 9:26. What's up? All right. I really don't like the way that they do that. Some of these websites, man, when they put out their schedule, it's like, people are trying to see the schedule and they just put it out in the most awkward, weird format. It's like they intentionally try to make it terrible. So yeah, what in the world is this? Hold on. Get that noise out of here. I'm not interested, sir. What's going on, Eddie? How you doing, sir? Good luck, practice game. Yeah, I believe so. A little bit curious as to how Kirby Smart is going to play this game. It looks like he's been doing this kind of shell game between not telling us who he's gonna have play. Hold on. I've been doing this because I think it's hilarious. Every time I look in the mirror, it makes me laugh. I can't decide if I look like a fat Jack Sparrow or a fat Doc Holliday from Tombstone. What's going on, Reasonable Gump? What are the chances of the SEC keeping this 10-game thing, or at least 9 games? 4 to 5% chance. No, I think we'll be just fine, especially the way that they've allowed for games to be rescheduled and whatnot. So Yeah. I'm going to go ahead and throw this down in the chat. Who do you think will start at quarterback? D'Wan Mathis. I think it's a no-brainer to me. I'm sure there's people that will have different opinions on who that would be, but for me, I'm pretty sure it's going to be D'Wan Mathis. So, could be, but I really think it's going to be D'Wan Mathis. That's who I'm picking. That's who I want it to be. I want to see a mobile quarterback. Oh no. Hey, what's going on, Jermaine? How you doing, buddy? Welcome back to the channel, sir. I didn't see yours in there. Yours snuck by me. Jermaine Dunbar Trucking is one of the members of the YouTube, the Big Dog member group. So yeah, glad to have him on here, sir. JT Daniels is not clear to play, right? I think personally, Mr. Mathis is going to do a great job, and we need to keep him there anyway. I agree. But to get back up here to keeping the 10-game thing, I really don't think that's going to happen. This season was kind of an anomaly. I don't know of any SEC coaches that want to keep it this way. I haven't seen any of them come out and say, I got to fix this. It's driving me nuts. I haven't seen any coaches come out and say that they want to have this stay this way. They want to get the season back to the way it was. Waiting for the dogs to eat. Yeah, me too. That kid has been going through so much. Hope he does well. Yeah, he's got an incredible story, man. He is just an absolute monster of a person, both physically, mentally, emotionally, super loyal guy. He could have transferred out any time and nobody would have said anything, but he hung in there. So I really hope it's him. Hey, what's going on, Brad Pitt? Glad to have you back, sir. I know it's time to see a complete team. I know that's right. Whew, man, eat some pork. I don't know what I want to do though for as far as food goes. I may decide to do pulled pork, even though we just did pulled pork not too long ago. I know we're definitely going to do breakfast with bacon, but yeah. Hey, Brett, I love your show. Even though I'm a Florida fan, I still love watching the show. I appreciate that, Eddie. It's nice to have Georgia fans on here. It really is, but it's really a compliment whenever I have fans of other teams that tune into the show and want to be part of it. It's really flattering. I can't tell you guys how much I appreciate all the people who watch the show. It's come a long way, certainly from where we started at. Obviously, everybody starts at zero. But hey, how's it going, the Real Big League? I never thought I would have, a live show in the middle of the week where people will tune in and watch it. And what surprises me probably more than anything is that people watch the show and then they come back and they watch another show. I just like, man, you guys are starved. If I'm the best out there to take up your time, I'm not sure what that says about me or maybe what it says about you, but glad you guys decided to show up anyway. Smoking some ribs. Man, I haven't done that in a while. The way I do ribs, for those of you who, and I'm sure pretty much everybody on the channel knows this, I love to cook. Big stuff. I'm not a big fan of making dinner for the family, like Monday through Friday. My wife is so good at that. She's all over it. Yeah. Maybe if I could get some company to come up here, that I might smoke some ribs for some people. I don't know, Keith. Do you know anybody? But I love to cook food. I love to treat people to that. I have a Blackstone. I have 2 different smokers. We just bought a new stove. We have a convection cooktop or whatever, something that my wife uses to make cookies in. It makes the house smell amazing. So we have just a ton of stuff. We love to cook food. I love to make breakfast on the flat stone. I do hibachi on that thing. It's just, yeah, I really wasn't big into cooking until I kind of got moved to South Carolina, and then that kind of got me going in it. Somebody up here said, hold on, let's see. CJ Curry, sorry, I missed your comment. Hybrid, I love your show compared to Lou. He sounds like a Chihuahua. You sound like a true bulldog. I'm a Gamecock, but still love your show. I appreciate that, CJ Curry. For those of you who've been around for a while, I like Lou's show a lot. It's kind of where I got the idea to get started, and he's helped me a lot. And there are other content creators around the YouTube. college football realm that have really helped me kind of pull things along. You know, the setup, the lighting, the microphones, you know, kind of the ideas on how to do that, where to do that, how to edit the videos, what to use to edit videos. I mean, it all just kind of came from those guys. So hats off to all of them, including Uncle Lou especially. Screwblower, did you ask a question, man? Did I miss it? I'm sorry. Ask it again, please. SEC commissioner has already said that I do not want to play a 10-game schedule after this year. I don't blame him for that because there's too much money to be made in playing the off games. And it really helps the other programs around when you pay them a bunch of money to come play. It gives you an opportunity to tune up your team, and it gives you an opportunity to show off your team, and it really helps those other colleges. How do I think the defense stacks up this year? I think that this defense is going to make last year's defense look a little bit sloppy. This should be the best defense that UGA has ever had, and there's many that are saying that this will be the best defense Kirby Smart has ever coached. Kirby Smart has been with Nick Saban for a very long time. So if you can imagine the best Alabama defense you've ever seen, and they're saying that this defense should be better than that one, that's quite a compliment. So it's hard to say. No, it's just some type. It's all good, man. Oh no, CJ. I mean, no, don't feel bad about anything you say on my channel. Everybody's more than entitled to their own opinion. I don't get mad at people because they have an opinion of Uncle Lou or BVD or anybody else. You're entitled to your own opinion. The thing I love about your show is you're a true family. Or a true person? Are you saying I'm a true person or a true family man? True family man? I'm not sure what you're quite saying there, but yeah, definitely try to be as honest and forthright as I can. Mainly because I'm lazy. It's easier to just tell the truth than try to remember the lie. So just being lazy helps me in that whole category. What's your opinion on our pretty boy quarterback? You watch his YouTube highlights. He reminds me of Jake Bentley. He's saying you're not a Russian bot. Definitely not a Russian bot, sir. American made, tried and true through and through. There's Crimson Brave. Boy, he just can't wait to say that. Our pretty boy quarterback. Are you talking about Brock Vandergriff? Are you talking about Carson Beck? And I know you're not talking about JT Daniels, because if you've seen a picture of that guy, he ain't pretty. Hey, what's going on, Big Ball 71? Welcome to the channel, sir. Glad to have you here. I took a few minutes earlier. There we go. Colin Hill. I don't know who that is, sir. I'll have to look that one up. You got me on that one. Oh, he's a Gamecock. Spurs up. If you guys want to join the channel, there's a link. Feel free to click that. It'll throw you in the back studio. Once I see you're there, I'll get you drug in. We'll go from there. Calling for a shutout against Tennessee this year. Are you saying Alabama's going to shut them up, shut them out, shut them down? What are you saying? How do you feel about the Georgia-Tennessee game? I'm looking forward to that game, but I really want to see believe it or not, I want to see how Tennessee does against South Carolina. I really want to see that game. And I also want to see how Tennessee does against Missouri, because that'll tell me pretty much everything I need to know. I think he's referring to Sunshine. So Colin Hill, the transfer that followed Mike Bobo, is starting over Ryan Hilinski. Oh, you're talking about in South Carolina. I was confused. I haven't really watched much tape on him, man, but I will now and let you know from there. Auburn or Kentucky? Auburn, sir. Yeah, definitely Auburn. As much as I don't like Gus Malzahn, Kentucky's got a long way to go. Corey Foreman and LSU this weekend with his parents. Not good for UGA. Corey Foreman. I thought that they shut down all recruiting until the end of the year. That may not be good for LSU if that's the case. I don't care what else happens. We just have to make sure the Georgia-Alabama game doesn't get canceled. I am absolutely on board with that. Let me see. All right, so we're about 15 minutes into the show here, so we're starting to pick up. I also miss your content, dude. I was distracting myself for like 5 months and dodging football. But now I'm back and being impatient week after week. I'm going to try and up the number of videos I put out this year. Last year, what's going on our end? Last year, I was kind of doing one, maybe two a week. I'm going to try and amp that up as well as continue to do the live show. Before, I mean, just to be completely honest, whenever I was putting out videos and some of the videos were getting like 50 views a week or 75 views a week, it was kind of hard to get the motivation to record the video, do all the editing and get it the way I wanted it to look and then upload it. But now we're starting to get more and more views. It's a little, I get more feedback and that motivates me. When I see people down in the comment section asking questions or ribbing me or ripping on the team, it just gives me motivation to kind of go back and forth with everybody. It's fun. Uncle Lou is a great person. He gets on my nerves hating Florida, but it's okay. I like his personality and his show. Man, Uncle Lou has some great ideas. The guy's an idea machine. He really is. So when you see stuff on his show all the time, it's like the first time he's ever done it, or first time I've ever seen anything like that. So just seeing the ideas that he comes up with is pretty impressive to me. What are my thoughts on conference realignment? Diehard Sooner fan here, but winning the Big 12 means nothing anymore. Well, Josh, the problem that you have, sir, is that the Big 12 has basically played musical chairs for so long. And what ends up happening almost inevitably is that you either have a team, you have 3 or 4 teams where they do okay, and then one of the teams will transfer like to the SEC or something like that, like Missouri did, right? So Missouri transferred to the SEC, and now they're struggling. So that only leaves a couple of teams in the conference that's really worth watching, as a viable candidate for serious football. And so you're not ever going to get those teams to transfer out of that conference because it basically in this day and age gives them an easy route to the playoff. It would be like Clemson transferring to the SEC. There's no reason for it. Them transferring to the SEC would pretty much be career suicide because then their team wouldn't look as good as they do. I'm not saying that their team is not awesome, but I'm saying, and everybody that's objective agrees, that if you play in a conference every year where you play against Georgia or you play against Alabama, you're much more likely to take a loss playing those teams in a regular season than if you play through an ACC schedule and you're Clemson. Somebody said something over here I wanted to get to, but I was running my jabberjaw. Do I think Pickens will have a better career at Georgia than Hardman? He certainly has all the tools to, CJ. The guy is absolutely incredible. I say this every year, but I'm really hoping we don't have a game. Hold on. We don't have a game. We totally blow it and lose about. We absolutely, Jason. You're right on that. I hate seeing us lose to teams that there's no reason we should lose to. Last year, the reason we lost wasn't because we didn't have a good football team. We just had a terrible offense. We had weapons on the offense. We just had the wrong guy at quarterback. And I know people love Jake Fromm, but at the end of the day, the guy had concrete feet. He just did. Heard this rumor 2 weeks ago about Michigan State were coming to the SEC. No, there's no way, dude. That's crazy. I think this game is going to be a great game to look at on TV. Yeah, if you're a Georgia fan, it's going to be a killing. Let's get down to brass tacks. The real question we all need to ask ourselves is the Pac-12 a real conference? What kind of question is that, sir? That's like asking if Vanderbilt is a real football team. I mean, on paper, yes, but on the field, no. Not even close, man. Terrible. Jamie Newman will not be quarterback, my prediction. That is an excellent assessment, sir. You must have some inside knowledge here. If you're ever down to pay a small price, I am a video editor, and I would love to help you out with your videos, man. I appreciate that, Zach. Zach, if you would send me an email, my email address is bigdogbrett18@gmail.com. So if you want to send me an email, we can certainly talk about it. Do you think Pickens will have a better career? Yes, absolutely. I think somebody already asked that. Or maybe I just got back to it. I'm not sure. All right, so we're about 20 minutes into the show. Got a pretty decent number of people in here. So let's go ahead and take a look at the SEC schedule. Now, there's a ton of college football coming on. I'm going to go through the SEC stuff first because that's what I enjoy the most, and then I'll kind of flip around at some of the other stuff. But when you're talking about SEC stuff, the first games to kick off in the day are going to be Florida at Ole Miss, which I think is going to be a fun game to watch because Florida's ranked number 5. If they don't absolutely dominate Ole Miss, that's going to be brought into question. And then you've got number 8 Auburn at number 23 Kentucky. I expect that Auburn is going to have more things for Kentucky to look at than Kentucky's going to be able to handle. So, what's the number? If you want to get into the show, this is the way to do it, sir. I'm going to put the link in for you right here. Well, Hardman was fast, but there was times he couldn't catch. His players were relieved when their season was canceled. That's unfortunate. I'm a UGA fan, but I got Bama winning the Natty. They're probably going to have to get through Georgia twice to do it, and I don't know that that's a possibility for them, sir. So you've got Kentucky playing Auburn at noon. That's going to be fun. I can't wait to see football start off. Then you've got LSU number 6 starting at Mississippi State, and then you got about a 30-minute window before Georgia and Arkansas game kicks off. Now, you're going to know in about 15 minutes into 30 minutes between when the games start for LSU and the game starts for Georgia, what LSU has, because Mississippi State is not a terrible team, not a great team, but Mississippi State, they're horrible. LSU, even with a decimated roster, should be able to work these guys over pretty good. So I'll take LSU on that one. These are all kind of no-brainers coming up this weekend. Then you got Georgia, Arkansas, 4 p.m., and then you kind of switch over to the Alabama-Missouri game. This is the 2 best teams in the SEC playing against the 2 worst teams in the SEC, 3 hours apart. So you're going to get a good 6-7 hours of quality football just out of this set right here. Then during the breaks, you can flip back and forth over and watch Tennessee versus South Carolina, and then mix in some Texas A&M on Vanderbilt. Texas A&M should absolutely destroy Vanderbilt. I think they're like a 14-point favorite last time I checked. So, yeah. Vols or Gamecocks? I'm taking the Vols. Actually, despite the negative association with it's hard to beat the same team twice, rematches usually favor the original winner in SEC championship games. I don't know that I agree with that. I'll have to double check on that number, sir. Dude said 50, Missouri 52, Bama 3. Easy. Okay. Georgia should have been a night game. I'm okay with it, man, honestly. We're still going to get to see some of the lights, I'm sure, but we'll see what happens. Felipe Franks equals Baker attitude and Garantano skills. Golly, that's brutal. All right, guess we're going to join the show here. Hey, what's going on, Big Dog Keith? Welcome back to the show, buddy.
What's up, man? What's up?
What's going on?
Not much, man. I'm just wondering when we're going to get to the elephant in the room tonight.
All right, drag it out here on the floor. I knew somebody would.
Yeah, Otis Reese, Cade Mays, are they going to play?
I think Cade Mays is going to end up playing, but that call, from what I understand, was approved at the NCAA level, but it's still waiting to be approved at the SEC level.
And I don't know if you've seen the Sankey came out and basically said that, the rule that they had the rule where, no matter what, you had to sit out a year in the SEC. And in 2018, they amended that rule and allowed only graduate transfers and transfers to teams that have a postseason ban. They allow that.
Yeah. So, like, if they wanted to transfer to, like, Ole Miss or something.
Right. And he reiterated that today, apparently. So it's not looking good right now as it stands. It doesn't look like the SEC is going to allow the transfer to happen.
Well,
or not the eligibility. I'm sorry.
The eligibility. I'm sure that both of those guys really want to play. Don't get me wrong, but if I had to pick a season to opt out, it would be this one. Strictly because of everything that's going on. You're not going to take a hit. You could spend all of this time sharpening your game, and then you could play. So I don't know. I mean, it's hard to say. But if Otis Reese is going to Ole Miss, and Ole Miss, aren't they on a postseason ban because of like a scholarship infraction or recruiting infractions or something or another?
I'm not sure. I hadn't had to check on that.
I'm going to double check that right now. But I mean, there is so much talk going on about this Otis Reese thing. I'm not going to wade into the arena until I have all the facts. I mean, and it seems like there's more information out there that's going to be forthcoming soon. So once I have all the information on that, then I'll make a judgment call on that. Let me see if all right. Right now, I'm looking up Ole Miss postseason ban. Mississippi State's no, that's just they get a 2-year bowl ban. Let's see, Mississippi's football program won't participate in the postseason this year or in 2018 as part of the NCAA. So I guess they're off of it now. So they're 2018 and 2019 or 2017, 2018, one of the two. And it was recruiting. Looks like it was recruiting sanctions. Lack of wait a minute. Leveled against the school in the long-running rules violations case that included a charge of lack of institutional control, whatever that means. Yeah, but I mean, if they're on a postseason ban, then that would have made Otis Reese's eligibility a no-brainer. But it's hard. It's really hard to say what's going on with that right now. What's your thoughts?
I don't see Cade Mays playing based off what I heard today. It sounds like they're taking a hard stance on that one. The Otis Reese one, I think it's going to be a little different because of the
implications.
The implications. We've seen the Justin Fields one went through. Of course, that wasn't an in-conference transfer.
Right.
They tend to, that tends to be a very difficult thing to do, to transfer inside the conference and be granted immediate eligibility. I mean, you don't want poaching, things of that nature between those. So I get it. I get it. And I kind of agree with that. If you want to transfer inside the conference, should sit out a year. I mean, it's a pretty good rule. Well,
the thing that I looked at is when I listened to, and I don't know if you got a chance to see this, but Kirby Smart, somebody in a presser point blank asked him, what was going on with that. And he flat out said, anytime that these guys want to transfer, we fully support them. We don't hold them back. He said, this is not being held back at my level. Mm-hmm. So it's not on me. And so to me, the statements that were made by Otis Reese, that is part of what Otis Reese said. Not everything, because I don't know all the facts on the other part. But Otis Reese said that he felt like it was Kirby Smart that wasn't allowing him to transfer and become eligible. And then Kirby Smart in response said, that's not the case at all. I fully support him, transferring. So Kirby Smart has now put himself out there that if he said somewhere that, no, you can't transfer, he's going to get blasted out of the water. And it would be highly unusual to see a head coach say one thing, kind of behind closed doors, regarding something like this, and then come out in public and say, no, I completely say that he can transfer, and then go back and still try to hold on to it, because he would just get decimated in the media.
Yeah.
So
I don't see Kirby Smart having threatened any type of, not allowing him to transfer, because there's no real reason for him to do that, right? He's protected from that, from the SEC rule anyways. There's no reason for him to make a stance like that. What I read into the Otis Reese statement was that Kirby Smart just kind of made it uncomfortable for him and forced him to play when he was having some personal issues and stuff like that. But it's,
there's certainly a couple of different ways to look at that. And I don't by any means think that Kirby Smart has not been, I won't say generous, has not been, what's the word I'm looking for? Open-minded. I think he's been pretty open-minded about the whole thing. He said, if there's players on our teams that are having concerns or they're having questions or this is the way they feel, then I'm more than willing to sit down and have a conversation with them so that we can figure out something and take action. Yeah. He hasn't just said, let's have a conversation. He said, let's have a conversation. Let's try to, and then find something to take action about and then do that. And so to me, that's more than a coach who's just out there talking. He's trying to help these guys develop a plan to get to wherever it is they want to get to take whatever kind of steps they want to take. It doesn't seem like a coach that would foster that kind of negativity in a locker room. It just doesn't.
Yeah, it definitely seems out of character for sure. From everything that we've seen in the past, from what players have said about Kirby, there's nobody that's come out and really said negative things about him personally like that,
Right. I think there was one time a while back where he like restricted somebody from transferring to Miami, but I think he ended up letting him go anyway. Who was that? I think it was Turman. AJ Turman was not prevented by Kirby Smart from transferring to Florida or to Miami because he did not want to go there. But the reason Smart put a restriction on Miami is that he wanted to establish that it would not be an avenue for other Georgia players now that Mark Richt is there. So that had more to do with
makes sense,
preventing a mass exodus just because those players were beholden to Mark Richt because he wanted to protect the talent he had on the team. So to me, it's, he has to have a good reason if he wants to prevent a player from transferring, but I haven't seen him prevent anybody from transferring other than that one occasion.
Yeah, I'm going to be surprised to see Cade Mays on the field this year for Tennessee this year. From what I've seen today, it's just not looking good. So.
Well, I mean, you got Greg Sankey, who is pretty much the end all be all, and he's the one saying no.
Yeah.
And I mean, and he has all rights to say so if he wants to. He's the president. So
I mean, the team signed off on this rule. I mean,
every team in the SEC, every team in the SEC signed off on it. So I mean, it's not like this wasn't known, and it wasn't like, okay, so this is kind of the way that I imagine it went down. So apparently he has text messages. Otis Reese has text messages from back during the season last year. I think it was October 4th is the date he cited. I could be wrong on the date, stating that, he had concerns that he wanted to transfer and that Kirby Smart kind of made him play football. Well, I'll be completely honest with you. Coaches tend to push players to keep them busy, to help them work through stuff. I mean, that's just the way coaches are. Coaches hear every excuse under the sun from over 100 different players on a routine basis. So if you think this is the first time a coach has said, hey, man, you got to knuckle up and get out there and let's get after it. I mean, to me, that was what every coach would do.
But I mean, I've coached on different levels before, and I mean, obviously I've never coached college, but these kids. I mean, Otis Reese is a scholarship player. I mean, the coach should encourage the players to play. I mean, unless he's got, some personal issue or whatever that's preventing him from playing or whatever. But you just, because you want to transfer because you're not happy with your playing time or whatever, and I'm sorry. That's, in my opinion, that's not an excuse not to play. I mean, the school has an obligation to you, but you have an obligation too,
Absolutely. To me, especially if you're a scholar, if you're a walk-on player, I can kind of lean back a little bit as far as your obligation to the team. But when you're a scholarship player, the team is now invested in you. The school is now invested in you. Not to say that the school is not invested in spending time with walk-on players and coaching those guys up as well. Rodrigo Blankenship would be an excellent example. But when a team has actually got you on scholarship, that scholarship is being prevented from going somebody else. So in my opinion, they would be much more inclined to develop that talent over walk-on talent because they've got skin in the game.
Yeah.
So for a coach to come out and say, hey, man, we really need you playing football. You got to play, man. Well, when I get done this year and I want to transfer, are you going to hold me back? No, I'm not going to hold you back. So then when the guy goes to transfer and he can't transfer and it's not UGA holding him back, I don't know if he's unaware of how the rules work, but it doesn't seem to be Kirby Smart or anybody on the UGA staff that's holding him back. Because, I mean, there's I don't know what to tell you, man. I mean, you knew the rules whenever you decided to transfer to an SEC school.
SEC school, exactly. I mean, it's not like you decided to transfer just in general. You tried to transfer to an SEC school knowing the rule.
Yeah, and my real question is that the head coach or the recruiters, and obviously a head coach had to know, he's going to be coming to Ole Miss. What were they telling him? Or were they telling him you're going to play? Were they telling him we're going to try and get you to play? Or did they tell him the actual rule, which is you can't transfer inside the SEC and play next year, man? It doesn't work that way.
Husker, we're talking about the eligibility of Otis Reese and Cade Mays to transfer and have immediate eligibility at Tennessee and Ole Miss.
Yeah. Cade Mays.
The SEC is going to try to, or it looks like the SEC is not going to allow it, from what I understand.
It doesn't seem to be that it looks like the coaching staff at Georgia and the administrative staff has told them is like, you can go. We support you 100%. But just because Georgia supports the transfer and Ole Miss supports the transfer doesn't mean that the rules of the SEC as a whole can be ignored. Those rules are in place for reasons and that everybody has signed off and agreed to. It's part of being in the SEC.
But you don't want player, poaching, player trading going on inside of a competitive conference,
especially in a year where it's conference only.
Yeah. So, I mean, I understand the rule completely. And I'm pretty sure other conferences have a similar rule in place.
Well, my thought process has always been, if a kid wants to transfer, let him transfer. But if it's inside of a conference, then there needs to be some type of throttling that prevents that from happening. Mm-hmm. Now, if you want to go outside of your own conference, hey, gloves are off.
Yeah, you look at Easton. I mean, nothing stopped him. I mean,
he went to Washington, no problem. Yeah.
I don't know if he sat out a year. He may have sat out a year. He did actually. Think about it because of the NCAA rule. But
I think it was an injury. It was his injury.
Yeah.
But to me, I think that if a kid wants to transfer because he's got a better opportunity at another school, or he's not getting enough play time, or he's not being developed properly, Justin Fields.
Exactly.
I don't have a problem with that kid transferring. I said the same thing then. I didn't think Justin Fields was a good talent at Georgia. I didn't think they were going to be able to develop him, and I wasn't mad that he was leaving. And obviously, they couldn't even develop Jake Fromm. How are they supposed to develop a kid whose ceiling is practically unlimited with no real quarterback coach at UGA? I had no problem with Justin Fields leaving and going to play in the next year. Cade Mays, on the other hand, is a completely different ball game. Cade Mays came to UGA, flipped from Tennessee to come to UGA, was all excited about UGA. And then for whatever reason, he decided he wanted to go back to Tennessee. Okay, fine. Apparently there was a problem with they cited initially some type of lawsuit where his father-in-law or somebody cut the tip of his finger off.
Cut off, yeah.
In a folding chair. Sir, I'm not sure if you know how folding chairs work or how any chair works, but you probably shouldn't put your hand in an area where it can be, cut off. But that had absolutely nothing to do with him playing football that year. He went ahead and he played football that year. He started almost every game after that. And then he gets at some point, he just decides, hey, I want to go back to Tennessee. Okay, fine. You want to go back to Tennessee. Good luck. But then he got upset whenever the SEC shut him down. Again, not UGA that stopped that transfer. It was the SEC. So I don't know. I mean, I don't think that one kid makes the biggest difference on a football team.
I don't either. That's a big player for Tennessee, though.
I think more so because he's originally from Tennessee. I think if he was from Florida or Texas or South Carolina or Oklahoma, this would be a blip on the radar for the most part.
Yeah, he was a 5-star, right? I think he was.
I think Cade Mays. I think it was he 4-star or 5-star? I think it was. I'm gonna check right now.
Yeah, he was up there.
He was a 5-star.
Yeah, a 5-star. Yes, I mean that's it's a pretty good player for Tennessee to pick up for sure.
I mean, I'm just gonna look up eligibility update. Former UGA lineman Cade Mays denied immediately eligibility at Tennessee. Former Georgia offensive lineman Cade Mays was denied. Following his transfer, he was required to sit out the 2020 season under the NCAA transfer rules. Apparently back on August 17th, there was an update, but really nothing has happened since then. They and the transfer rules are so weird. I don't think anybody actually knows them. Because they say we're appealing the ruling. Who in the hell are you appealing the ruling to? I think the same people that just told you no is who you're sending the appeal to. What you really mean to say is you're getting a lawyer and you're threatening to sue somebody. That's what you're doing.
I saw somebody earlier mention they're excited to see Kendall Milton. I second that for sure.
Oh,
I hope we get to see him this year.
Oh man. There are so many players that I want to see this year. Let me go through them here real quick. I was just looking at this earlier. So who do you think is going to be? Because I mean, I don't think you're going to see anybody out of the 2020 class that's really going to be a whole lot of time on the field. I think you're going to see a lot of 2019 guys. So who do you think is going to be the breakout player from the 2019 class? Because obviously you've already seen George Pickens. I get that.
Yeah, and I think Blaylock went down with an injury, so I think he's out. I mean, I'm not real sure. I think this year is going to be. I think this year is going to be the Pickens and Zamir White show. I mean, I really do.
All right, that's offense. What about defense? Eric Stokes. Okay,
I'm looking for Stokes and LeCount to have big seasons. Yeah, I mean that's who I got my eyes on. I mean, I really, I mean Stokes. I remember in that spring game. I mean, that dude was everywhere, and I really do. I think he's the guy that's going to play on Sunday. I'm excited to see what he can do.
So, the two guys I want to see work tandem is Nolan Smith and Nakobe Dean. I think both of those guys are flying under the radar. I think both of those guys are not going to be realized until they're all over people. And in the 2019 recruiting class, Nolan Smith was a 5-star recruit, right? Number 1 in position and number 2 nationally. Nakobe Dean. Now, Nolan Smith is an outside linebacker, number 1 at position, right? Nakobe Dean is an inside linebacker, number 1 at position. Both of these kids had ridiculous amount of offers. Nolan Smith had 11 schools. Nakobe Dean had 23. Those two guys playing together are going to be a devastating duo. Now you throw in Monte Rice, you throw in Richard LeCount. I mean, you throw in Eric Stokes. You got all those guys hanging out there. Please throw a football, please, because those guys are going to eat them alive, man.
I hear a lot about this Jermaine Burton guy too from this year. I mean, I think Pickens is really high on him too.
Absolutely. I want to see. I do want to see. I want to see Zeus and I want to see James Cook. But who do you think is the next running back in the list there?
I mean, it's got to be Kendall Milton coming up now. I mean,
what would you say if I told you that I think Kendall Milton could take the number 2 spot away from James Cook?
I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, James Cook to me was more exciting coming in when he was playing a slide and when he caught the ball.
Right.
He's. I mean, I like him. I like the the synergy between the two different styles of backs that they were.
Yep.
And they could still work that, but Kendall Milton is a beast, man.
Yeah, the guys.
We caught a couple of his high school games on TV, and I've watched some of his. This kid is next level.
So you remember back in the day when like we were kids and we used to watch The Incredible Hulk, right? And The Incredible Hulk, like that big Lou Ferrigno, you know what I'm talking about? Like swole Lou Ferrigno.
Oh yeah.
That's what Kendall Milton looks like without a shirt on, bro.
Yeah,
for those of you who don't know, go find a picture of Kendall Milton with a shirt off. Not like that. Kendall Milton is a powerhouse. And I'm going to tell you right now, he reminds me of Todd Gurley and the fact of, yeah, you're going to tackle him that first 2 or 3 times. But then after that, you're going to get tired of trying to tackle this guy. He's just so powerful. I mean, you could watch it in his high school highlight games. You would see these guys that would like halfway kind of tackle him because they just knew he was going to run over him. I mean, it looked like people were trying to tackle Ray Lewis. That's what it looked like.
A physical guy. Yeah.
Yeah. So I missed that out of Todd Gurley. Nick Chubb had some of that. I don't think anybody really had it like Todd Gurley did.
Yeah.
I'm looking for that again, man.
Peterson type back, just big physical, a guy that you don't want to tackle.
And see, there's a they say football, is 50% physical, 150% mental. And I'm going to tell you, man, just from being in some physical situations before, you get in there and it's like, I got to do this again. I got to do this again. And then they're hitting you with Zeus, who's no slouch. They're hitting you with Zeus, right? And then they swap in Kendall Milton, and that guy's running all over you, and you're like, oh, God. Oh, no, not again. Not enough. I've seen this formation before. They're going to run it through the A gap. And then here he comes. And you see two linebackers trying to grab a hold of him, and he just blasts through him. I think Zeus will be fine, Rob F. It's gonna be fun.
Yeah, it's definitely gonna be fun.
So yeah. Well, if you guys want, go ahead.
I didn't cut you off there. I just wish that I wish the stadium could be full, and I wish the game would have been in Athens on game 1 when Mathis rolls out there as quarterback. Could you imagine what Sanford Stadium would sound like if he took the field as a quarterback day 1?
I know what it's going to sound like all across Georgia because you'll probably be able to hear it. I really, you know what? I wish I could be Kirby Smart or Todd Monken for like 5 minutes, dude. Because you know what I would do? I would roll Stetson Bennett out there.
And then call a timeout?
And then, no. You know what? I'd roll him out there for one play, right? And then I'd pull him back, and then I'd roll JT Daniels out there. And then I'd say, all right, now put DeJuan Mathis out there, and let's go get it. So, I don't know, man. I just think that, it'd be a heck of a troll job.
Yeah.
But golly, I want to see a mobile quarterback so bad. I want to see an explosive offense. I want to see us we have so many weapons out there. I can't count. I did count the other day. From now to like 19 to 2017, we have 19 5-stars. We have 62 4-stars. My gosh, at the talent that's sitting out there on that field. And to know that Jake Fromm couldn't get it done with that much talent out there is disheartening at best. So, yeah, I want to see Mathis out there. I want to see Mathis shut up everybody that's ever doubted him. The guy is incredible.
Yeah, I'm rooting for the kid. I don't know if he makes it a starting quarterback all year. I think that's probably going to be determined in week 2. I think that's going to be that Auburn game is going to be really telling about who is going to actually be the 2020 starter.
Yeah.
Because I think Kirby is expecting JT Daniels to be cleared like any day now. I mean, I think he's actually expecting him to be cleared before Saturday, but I think you'll still see Mathis on Saturday, but it'll be interesting to see what happens October 3rd.
I think that one of the things that Kirby Smart is doing right now is I think he's playing a bit of a shell game by not revealing that JT Daniels is either prepped or not prepped. It adds a wrinkle to the equation that most coaches aren't dealing with right now, and not that we're really going to fool anybody or have to fool anybody at Arkansas, but I think that mystique is driving so much attention towards the team, which is good for the program. Because the moment that we roll it out there, like if he said DeJuan Mathis is going to be the starter right now, there'd be a huge uproar. Everybody would be happy. Most people would be happy. And then you would see that excitement would kind of die down, and then you just have the game. Versus now, everybody's going to be tuned in. Every sportscaster, they're going to be watching who we roll out there initially, and that's going to be great publicity for whoever this guy is. It's good pub for the team too.
Yeah, and it's kind of it's par for the course for Kirby, right? I mean, when's the last time he announced the starting quarterback? Even with the Fields Fromm thing, we all knew it was Fromm, but Kirby wouldn't say anything, right?
Right.
we didn't know until game time.
So we've got a list here. I'm going to roll through the top 25. I want to get your picks. What's going on, Kevin Cook? I've been neglecting the chat section here. Let me roll through here and say hello to some people. RMF Ty, what's up, buddy? Eric Johnson, how you doing? Jamie Newman, you're always here. The Electric Grid, glad to have you back, sir. Rob F. Eddie Sewell, you've been here pretty much all night. Husker Gray, you too, sir. Jamie Newman, Eric Johnson, Dog West, Sean Stapleton. How you doing, sir? Let's see. I know there was somebody else in here. David Johnson. How you doing? Kevin Cook and David Johnson. There we go. So it pretty much catches us up. If you've Husker Gray, I'll give the link out here in just a second. I'm going to go through the list here with Keith, and we're going to I'm going to go through the top 25 teams. Not going to go through every team unless it's a showdown that I'm really interested in, and I'm going to get Keith's picks here, and I'm going to give you mine. So, all right, Keith. So we're going to start out with a noon game tomorrow: Oklahoma versus Kansas State. Number 3 Oklahoma versus an unranked Kansas State. Who you got?
I mean, this is an easy game for Oklahoma. I haven't watched much of Kansas State lately. And I think Oklahoma rolls big on this one. It looks like the line is 27.5.
Yeah, so that's like Georgia versus Arkansas.
Yeah, I mean that's a really high line. But I think it's Oklahoma's offense. I think they cover that.
Yeah, I agree. Number 5 Florida versus Ole Miss at Ole Miss.
Yeah, I mean, definitely taking Florida out right here, 14-point line. I'm scared of this one because, everybody's talking about how good Florida is this year, how good they are. I mean, they're ranked 5th in the country, and I mean,
didn't we have this? Didn't we hear the same thing last year? Though
I was going to say, I mean, this sounds very, very familiar. I mean, I'm going to call Florida covers the 14. But I think this game could be interesting. I mean, I think Florida wins, but I think people are going to have, I think people may have some questions about how good Florida may be coming out of this game.
So I absolutely agree, especially with them starting. Aren't they starting Kyle Trask, or are they starting Emory Jones, or do they even know?
I think it's Trask.
Okay. So if we look at, I'm going to go back to last year real quick, and yeah, I'm gonna pick on Florida a little bit, dude. So,
I mean, Florida may be great. I don't know. You just never know year in, year out with them. It's everybody's really high on them every year, and then
yeah. So last year, Ole Miss, they had one game where they scored, or they had 2 games where they scored 40 and 41 points, but their average was kind of in the 21, 22 to 24 range, somewhere in there. So when they played against number 23 ranked Cal, they scored 20 points. When they played against Alabama last year, they scored 31.
Mm-hmm. Now, that's what I'm saying. They're going to put up some points, and to say that Florida's going to cover by 14,
yeah, I don't buy that.
It's going to be really close if they,
If you look back last year, 2 teams, one of them being Alabama. Only 3 teams: LSU, Alabama, and actually that's the only 2. LSU and Alabama were the only 2 teams last year to beat Ole Miss by more than 14 points. So you got to be able to move the ball pretty well on those. I don't buy that Florida's going to beat them by 14. I think Florida may beat them by 10. I think this is kind of a padded number. But no.
Yeah,
all right.
I don't think that's an easy one. It just depends on what kind of Florida team we have. If
right.
we have the team that everybody seems to think is going to show up, I mean, they cover 14. But I think Ole Miss puts up some points and makes that game a little closer than people think it's going to be.
Right on. Auburn, number 8, Auburn at number 23, Kentucky. Noon game.
I think, I'm definitely going to take Auburn in this one. This is going to be I think the line, I see 7.5. I'll say Auburn by 10 on this game.
Oh, I'd say Auburn by 10 easy on this. I think that a number 23 ranked Kentucky is way too high.
Yeah, I think so too.
Maybe because you were sitting like a whole conference out, make 2 conferences, and then you're like, all right, we got to put somebody in the 23 spot. All right, we're going to put Kentucky, and then they shifted a few around, so you still got a number 23 Kentucky. But in my opinion, a 23 Kentucky is about the same caliber as a 50th ranked Kentucky, and I just don't think a number 8 Auburn, having the same coach, having the same system every year, they give you a lot of different looks. They can go hurry up. They can change the pace. They're playing at Auburn. I think Auburn covers this pretty easily.
Yeah. I think Kentucky's still benefiting from the Kenny Snell effect, huh?
Right. Now they're yeah, they think that, yeah, we're back. Okay, Texas, sit down. So the SEC network, and I'm sure this is a typo, but if you go over and you look on ESPN for the schedule rankings, you can get tickets as low as $1,111 for this game. So if you're interested in going to see the Auburn Kentucky game, break out a few Benjamins. All right, number 13, UCF versus East Carolina. I haven't seen the spread on this one, but
ESPN's got it at 27. I'm trying to remember. Isn't East Carolina that team that's upset a couple people, or am I thinking about somebody else? East Carolina had the.
Was it Coastal Carolina that was upsetting?
I think UCF covers this easily.
Oh yeah.
So I think they're good. I think this is the year that, the year they might get some respect.
Yeah. So last year, East Carolina, they lost to Navy 42-10. They lost to UCF last year 41-28. They lost to Cincinnati. They had a close game with Cincinnati last year, 46-43. Close game with SMU, 59-51. It looks like they have some semblance of offenses last year, but they only won 4 games, so they were 4-8 last year.
Yeah, I'm predicting an interesting end of the year again. I mean, I see UCF probably going undefeated again this year. And they're sitting at 13.
Yeah, they country. And they don't have to run through an SEC gauntlet, so they're going to get pushed up.
Yeah, I think they're going to make some stink in the at the end of the year. They play. It's like Memphis and Cincinnati are the only ranked teams that they play all year. So you're looking at East Carolina, Tulsa, Memphis, Tulane, Houston. Is that? I don't know if that's Temple, whoever, Cincinnati, and South Florida. They should run the table on that. I think they're going to be favored in every game.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Then you've got, and I can't believe I have to say this at all, but number 19, the Ragin' Cajuns, Louisiana versus Georgia Southern. Well, we are now. Think about that. The Ragin' Cajuns are 4 spots higher ranked than Kentucky. I should tell you where we're at, people. I guess we shouldn't complain because at least we get college football, but oh my goodness, the Ragin' Cajuns.
I watched a little bit of their game this past weekend. I just happened to be on where me and my wife were eating. Me and Steph were eating at. I mean, they look good, but I think were they playing Georgia State? I think is that who they were playing?
Georgia Southern, or they played Georgia State last week.
Georgia State, yeah. And Georgia State made it close with them. Of course, this is the same Georgia State that upset Tennessee last year too.
Yeah.
So, I'm kind of like you. I saw Louisiana last week and saw that they were ranked, and I was like, huh?
Yeah.
Like what?
How did that happen?
So, ESPN has it at 12.5 points. I think Georgia Southern is a good football team. I honestly don't know enough about this team to call this one.
I'm gonna take Georgia Southern. I'm gonna take Georgia Southern.
I think Louisiana wins, but I don't know I think it's gonna be a close game.
Yeah, I think this is going to come down to the wire. I think Georgia Southern has a good football team. I think this is the first ranked opponent that they're going to be playing in quite a while. I think they're still kind of living off of that Tennessee win, and this is their first real opportunity this year to show what they're made out of. So I'm going to say I'm going to take Georgia Southern. Then again, we got a ton of noon games. Number 24, Louisville at Pittsburgh, ranked number 21.
Man, I think this is probably I don't even know what the line is. It's probably got to be a coin toss. Yeah, it's 3. Pitt by 3, and I think they're the home team, so that's a 50-50.
Yeah, but the question is this year, how much are they really placing on home field advantage, because there's essentially no crowd noise now?
Traditionally, it's 3 points, I think, right?
Yeah.
So you know, I mean, I'm going to take Louisville in this or Louisville, sorry, in this
Whoa.
Louisville, and in this one, not real sure why. I just have a feeling on that one.
Last week I took Louisville over Miami, and I'm regretting that decision. Miami is way better than I thought they were.
Yeah.
So Louisville has a really good running back. I think his name is Hawkins. That guy's incredible. Can turn on a dime. And amazing acceleration. I mean, this guy, he turns around, looks like somebody shoots him out of a cannon. But I don't think that's enough to overcome Pittsburgh. I think Pittsburgh takes the cake here.
Yeah. Speaking of Miami, I'm interested to see what they do to Florida State this weekend.
Yes, sir. Whatever that is, I'm taking Miami because they looked really good last week. Of course, Louisville completely forgot that you're supposed to cover wide receivers. I think the quarterback in that game was something like 97 out of 98 passes, something insane. So, yeah. All right, I guess now we get to jump down to there is a game here at 1:30 I'm going to keep an eye on, and it's the TCU versus Iowa State. TCU, for whatever reason, seems to have those games where they can just knock anybody off, and so does Iowa State. If these two teams show up, that could be a really interesting game. Then I guess around 3:30 we got number 6 LSU versus Mississippi State. Whatever the points are on that, I'm taking LSU.
Yeah, 15.5 looks like.
Oh yeah, even decimated. I believe that they're still gonna do really, really well. And it looks like I can't. Where's the sports line on this one at? Here it is. Yeah, 16.5. That's kind of a weird number to take too. I mean, that's a touchdown and a field goal puts you at 17. So, I mean,
basically saying that they're going to win by 3 scores.
Yep, I won by 3 scores, which is, if you're a betting person, this is a great number to take. But if you're not a betting person, you don't know much about it, just don't bet on this game at all. That's one of those numbers where if the line shifts, the betting will just about stop.
Yeah.
Then we got number 8 Texas. We're back almost against Texas Tech at 3:30.
I mean, it's 18 point. Texas. I mean, I definitely think Texas wins outright in this game, but 18 points is a lot. I mean, Texas Tech, historically good, put up a lot of points. It's really hard to call these high line. Like 18 points is a high line on teams that, these teams out there that score 30, 35 points a game and still lose.
Right.
I mean, let me look at last week. Yeah. They scored 35 points and gave up 33 points and won last week, Texas Tech. So, I mean,
18 points is a big gap.
That's a big gap because Texas Tech is probably going to score 25, 30 points,
Well, if you watch those games, like Texas Tech traditionally, let me pull this up here real quick. The team it's like one of those teams. It's like the Tennessee or South Carolina. It's a team that really never seems to have, until recently, Tennessee. I apologize. It's a team that never seems to have like a terrible, terrible seasons like Vanderbilt or like Arkansas has. They tend to have pretty decent seasons. And so when you go back and you look at what they have on the field, they get a lot of talent out of Texas. There's a lot of really talented players there. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, I get that last year they only won 4 games, but if you look at the number of points that they put up sometimes, they're scary good. They almost knocked off Baylor last year. They beat Oklahoma State last year. They did lose to Texas at the end of the year, but by the end, I mean, they knew they weren't going to do anything anyway. Most of the games that they lose, they only lose by 3 or 4 points. So,
yeah, you look at this Texas Tech State game, the line is 18, but the over-under is 70.5.
Yeah.
So, yeah, they're expecting this team to score some points.
They're going to score a bazillion points and win by 18. Okay. All right, so I'm taking Texas. And then number 22 Army versus number 14 Cincinnati. I think you know who I'm taking. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it looks like Cincinnati's 13.5. I don't know. I saw Army, has scored some points. I'm not real sure who they've played, but I'm going to take Cincinnati outright. I don't know if they cover the 13.5 though.
So, obviously I'm an Army guy. I'm an Army fan. They shut out MTSU 42-0. And then they spanked ULM 37-7. Their BYU game was postponed. And so now they're playing Cincinnati after a bye week, basically. So they had a whole week to rest up, recover, get tuned up. I'm taking Army, and I'm taking Army to win outright. Obviously, Cincinnati has a good football team, but 45 points. I mean, you're talking somebody's to win by 13. Somebody's got to have, 25, 26 points. So the team's got to have like 12. I just don't see that happening with either one of these teams. Army has a pretty good offense. They know what they're doing. They played really good football last year. By the way, for those of you who don't know, Army on average wins like 10 games a year every year. They're a really good football team. So I think they're going to win this outright. Maybe I'm wrong, but I'm taking Army. All right, Oklahoma State, same time, number 15 versus West Virginia. Who you got?
I think Oklahoma State wins this. The line's at 7. I think they cover that.
Oh yeah, I think you're right.
I think this game, 10, at least 10, 14 points.
Now, West Virginia had a really good showing against EKU, but it's EKU. It was 56-10. But Oklahoma State, I mean, they recruit in-state. The only team they recruit in-state against is Oklahoma. They still get a ton of talent out of Kansas. They get a ton of talent out of Texas. I think that there's a real possibility that Oklahoma State runs away with this game.
Yeah. It's really hard to call these kind of games this year because, a lot of these teams generally, I don't know, just the schedules are all weird.
Well, this year, I mean,
I mean, you look at this Army game. I mean, Army would have played 3 games already.
Yeah.
Going up against Tennessee's only played 1, so.
And it's hard to get out the measuring stick and have it be fair. Is OSU starting quarterback out? I don't know, Sean. I'm just kind of basing off of what we see here. Put OU offense and a GA defense together, and you would have at least 2 national titles within the last 3 years. That's probably accurate, but I don't think it would have been last year because, my goodness, LSU was just a steamrolling everybody.
You don't need Georgia's defense. Georgia's defense lost the national championship.
That is correct. Well, didn't help the offense we had, but anyway. All right, then I guess we gotta talk about it since we're here. Number 4, Georgia versus Arkansas. This is a big line, dude.
Yeah, 26.5.
First game of the season and 26.5.
Yeah, I mean, I think Georgia covers this. So I don't want to sound like a homer, but I see this as one of those games. I mean, we're talking about an Arkansas team who hasn't won. I mean, what are they? I mean, they've it's been like a year or something since they won an SEC game, right?
Right. No, it's been longer than that. They haven't won a single game in over a year.
Yeah. So, with the COVID, yeah, I think. But if you go back, it's a pretty good ways back to even find an SEC win for these guys. So I think Georgia covers this. I think this game could be one of those that's over. That this line could be covered by halftime in this game.
Provided the offense shows up.
Yeah, I think it will. I mean, I just this is covered easy.
I think this can be covered easy, but I'm going to throw a caveat out here. I think that Kirby Smart, being Kirby Smart, is going to show some pity on Sam Pittman and take his foot off the throttle and start cycling in other players to get them some playing experience. I really think that that's going to be the case. So for me, I don't think Georgia covers this. I think Georgia.
You think they're going to give us some backdoor points?
Yep. Well, I think they're going to take their foot off of the throttle just out of respect for Sam Pittman. And then you'll probably hear that after the game. It's like, yeah, we were up comfortably. There was no need to push our players any further. We wanted to give some other guys some playing time. So basically, I think that it's going to be that Kirby Smart probably has already had a conversation with Sam Pittman and says, hey, look, it's highly likely we're going to run away with this game to start with. We'll take our foot off the throttle so long as you don't try to be a jerk and try to score a bunch of cheap points. in which case we'll go back to whooping on your behind again. So that's what I think. So let's see here. So I think Georgia wins. I don't think they cover. Of course, the next game up is Alabama versus Missouri. So for all you Alabama fans that have stuck around this long waiting for me to talk about this game, I'm going to skip it and come back to it here in a few minutes. So we're going to jump down here to number 10, Texas A&M versus Vanderbilt.
31 points.
I was waiting for you to see that. Is that not insane? That is basically saying that Vanderbilt is worse than Arkansas and Texas A&M is better than Georgia. That's what that's saying.
Yeah, I don't know. I think Texas A&M wins. Obviously, I don't think they cover 31 points though.
31 points is insane. That's basically a touchdown and 37 points. Look at the overall. The over under is 46.
Yeah, they're basically not expecting Vanderbilt to score many points.
They're basically saying you might score 2 touchdowns, and then they're gonna score 1 touchdown, maybe a touchdown and a field goal. Everything else is going to be all Texas A&M, and that's certainly a possibility with Kellen Mond at the helm. But man, that's crazy. All right, number 12, Miami versus Florida State. I'm gonna take Texas A&M, but I'm not gonna. If I had to pick, if I was betting, I would take Vanderbilt and make Texas A&M earn them points because that's a lot of points.
Yeah, that's. I don't think Texas covers that.
That's 4 touchdowns and a field goal to hit is what that is. Then you got number 12, Miami versus FSU. By the way, I'm not an FSU fan at all. So I would take FSU versus anybody. I would take that team. So
this is I think this is the easy one for me. I think Miami wins this and covers the 11 easily. I think Florida State at some point is going to run into their own player or
something. They're going to fall in the bleachers.
They're going to do something silly. I mean, if you go back, I mean, our friends are good are Florida State season ticket holders, and I get to watch him break down the games to me every Sunday, and I mean they were pointing out plays after plays where Blackman just was completely missing receivers, not seeing wide open receivers, and and I know that's probably because he's still got his brains rattled from being sacked every other play last year. So, I'm expecting Miami to win here. I don't know if I think this is going to be an ugly game to watch, just fundamentally, but I think Miami wins and covers the points.
I think Miami
not only 14 or so.
Oh no, I think Miami wins by 21 points.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised.
I think that Miami, from all those years of all that smack talking to FSU, and they continue to talk the smack, by the way.
I'm going to take the under on this too. The over-under is 54 points, but with Miami by 11, they think Florida State's going to score that many points.
There's no way. I'll take the under. I'd take the under definitely. What's going on, Hold My Beer? What's up, P Digits? Jordan Bowman, how you doing, sir? SEC dog, nice to have you here. I'm taking Miami and whatever points they want to throw out there, and I'm taking the under. Okay, then probably the next most interesting game of the day, certainly at the 7:30 roundabout time spot, because I think Texas A&M is going to get out of hand. I think number 16 Tennessee versus South Carolina is going to be a really interesting game as well.
Yeah, this is an interesting one. You got a number 16 Tennessee versus an unranked South Carolina with a line of 3.5.
Yeah, I mean, help me out here because I'm trying to understand how in the world can you have that small. That's and what's the over under on that?
43.5.
Yeah, that's basically saying both teams are going to score about 20 to 21 points or 21 to 23 points, somewhere in there, and they're going to win by 3. But one team is ranked 16 and the other one is unranked. I would, if I had to pick, I mean, I would put South Carolina over Kentucky in a heartbeat.
Yeah, the Tennessee, South Carolina, Kentucky, Florida, that drama is going to be interesting to watch this year. I know people are really high on Tennessee. Pruitt's doing a pretty good job up there of getting that team ready to play. And I think they're going to be improving. I mean, I've been saying this for years. Tennessee is not going to stay down. Florida's not going to stay down. These teams aren't going to stay down. They're They're historically good football teams. They're going to make the right hires. They're going to put the people in place to be competitive, and I think we're starting to see that with these teams. But I need Tennessee to show me something before I'm going to even respect a number 16 rank. I'm still looking at this as an even game, and it looks like Vegas is too.
Me too.
So I think this game is a toss-up. I'm gonna go with Tennessee. But I think this is
final possession.
I like
win.
the line. Yeah, this is a field goal at the end to win for either team. I think I'm not betting this game.
I think that Tennessee has a better tenured set of players on their team going into this game. I think that they're not going to have any problems playing, knowing their positions. I still feel like South Carolina is trying to find its identity. I think Tennessee knows what its identity is and it's trying to get to it. I think South Carolina is still trying to figure it out. So because of that, I'm going to pick Tennessee.
Yeah, that's kind of the same way I felt too. Tennessee seems a little bit further along in development. South Carolina they're South Carolina. They are what they are.
Reasonable Gump said, I would love to hear a short or long spiel on why Brett hates FSU so much. I bet it's hilarious. Okay. So I'm always been a Georgia fan. My family's always been a Georgia fan. For a brief period of time, Keith was a Miami fan in high school. Might have been middle school. I can't remember. But he ended up going back to UGA as an alumni. So we had some friends throughout high school that were FSU fans, and one of our neighbors was an FSU fan. And I never was a fan of other people that lived in Georgia being fans of any other team. And that was like the one team that I saw the most of besides Georgia. I didn't see a lot of Alabama stuff back then. I saw a lot of FSU and a lot of Georgia. And so that was always a little bit of a rub there. But then recently, I'd say within the past like 3-4 years, I had a guy who he got hired in to be my boss after the guy that we really liked left. This guy got hired in to be my boss, and he was an absolute jerk. When I tell you I hated this guy, hate is a strong word, and it's sometimes not strong enough. I hated this guy. He was a terrible leader. He would berate team members publicly, openly. And I also caught him stealing from the company and from a customer. So and he is a huge FSU fan. So anytime that I see FSU lose a game, it warms my soul just a tiny bit because I know he's hating it. So that's making me happy. So so it's really not me hating FSU as a team. It's hating a person that's involved in the circumstance. So that's one.
Yeah. And I could kind of second that. That same group of friends is my group of friends as well. They grew up, like I said, their grandparents and their parents were all season ticket holder, boosters for Florida State. So, and he's a big anti-SEC guy. He believes the whole SEC bias thing, and I get to hear that all the time being a Georgia fan. So, so love to see Florida State lose.
Yeah, when you can
love to see it.
Anybody, if you want to get on my hit list real quick, all you have to do is tell me that the SEC is overrated, and I will promptly go to work on destroying you with facts and information. And
it wasn't the overrated; it was the they were getting boosted in the rankings because the fact that they're SEC. You know what I'm saying? You get the preseason ranking, then because of the SEC, and then it's hard for other teams to overcome that. And when an SEC team that's ranked plays another SEC team that's ranked, is that whole thing. He believes that the conference is being propped up.
I just want you to know that any team that you picked from the 1985 football team called the 85 Bears was probably be propped up pretty good in history because they were the 85 Bears, not because they played for anybody in Chicago, but because they were the 85 Bears and they absolutely destroyed everybody they played. Now, if you look at the SEC on a whole, very few teams have a winning record against SEC teams on a whole. Usually it's very one-sided. So to me, when you have more players every year that go into the NFL, they come out of the SEC conference. That's where the talent scout goes. The betting books are always bigger on the SEC. The games are always have bigger attendance. They're always watched more on television when the SEC. Then yes, it's the SEC. Yes, it means more. And Sorry about your luck. We're taking applications for fans daily. Oh, and also we do not give out free shoes or free seafood. I'm sorry.
That's right.
We also try to keep the crime to a minimum, except for Florida. We're excluded them from that conversation. Anything in the state of Florida. Oh my goodness! You get some of these kids close to this oceanfront property, man. They just lose their mind. I mean, they chase people around with skillets and stuff, man. It's crazy. Georgia plays Clemson in 21, Oregon 22, OU 23, Clemson 24, FSU 27-28, Texas 28-29.
Yeah,
I like it.
And that's not the conclusion of the home and home that they had with Clemson, I believe.
Yep. When we beat them last time, we played them too.
Yeah. So what we got next is Virginia Tech and NC State.
Yep.
Yeah. NC State is one of those that, they're kind of like the South Carolina of the ACC, right? They always play the other teams tough when you don't really expect it. It looks like Virginia Tech's got a line of 7. I mean,
over under 57. That's a lot of points too.
Yeah.
I'm that's a no bet game for me. I'm not betting either one of those.
I mean, I think Virginia Tech wins this game, but you just never know what NC State's going to do. They always, like I said, they always play people tough. I think Virginia Tech wins this by 7.
Oh yeah, I'll go with that. But I would, if I was betting, I wouldn't bet it. I don't know enough about these teams as far as 2020 goes. I mean, it's just weird with everything going on right now to bet basically the first week of the real college football season. Right. No, and then and I keep telling people that I love reminding people that real college football begins September 26th. I guess let's jump over here to BYU and Troy, and then we'll get to Alabama. So BYU favored by 14 with an over-under of 61. Holy crap. That is a large that's a large number, sir. I mean, you're basically saying one team's going to score in the 40s, the other one's going to score high 20s. High 30s, low 20s. I mean, that's how that game's going to work out. 14 points. I don't know, dude. I'm not picking BYU to win. I don't know enough about either one of these teams to really get into that.
Yeah, same here.
All right, so I guess finally we're going to talk about Missouri right after the break. No, I'm just kidding. So Alabama, Missouri is probably the worst team that they could find to open up the week with. Georgia did the same thing. I don't know who got the bottle of bourbon from both of these teams to the SEC, but apparently it was well received because both of us got the softest openers that we could get, except for whoever's playing, maybe Texas A&M and Vanderbilt maybe, but Missouri's pretty soft. Arkansas is pretty soft. The numbers on this are incredibly, as far as the betting numbers, are very similar to the Georgia Arkansas game.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I think this is very similar to the Georgia game, like you said. I think Alabama wins for sure, covers the points easily. And I don't think Saban takes his foot off the pedal.
Not at all. I don't think that 27 is going to be a hard number for Alabama to get to. Nor do I think it's going to be difficult for them to get to 56 over.
I was going to say the over-under is 56. I take the over.
Yeah, I'll take the over.
I'll take the over. Being shut out.
there might be one oops, maybe, and they get 3 points. This game is going to be they're going to be filing police reports after this game. This is going to be a killing. This is going to be a drubbing, mollywhopping, gorilla stomp, whatever you want to call it. This is going to be bad. Alabama is absolutely going to want to come out to make a statement. Their offense has been centered around having recently a powerful quarterback tandem where they can hand off to a good running back and they have good receivers in the field. Tua was an excellent talent, and he's left. I was telling everybody up one side and down the other that I thought Mac Jones was going to be the quarterback. I guess they're saying, what's that other kid's name? It's not Bryce Young.
Man,
Barisma. What's his name? What's that guy's name? I know there's some Bama fans in the chat here. What's that new guy's name you guys have, that quarterback?
Yeah, I can't think of the guy's name.
I'm gonna look it up. Somebody said yet? I'm on another channel.
Yeah, Bryce Young and
Bryce
Young and yeah.
Yeah, I was trolling a little bit. That's why I said it wasn't Bryce Young earlier. I called him Drew Breezy because that's what other people were calling him. They've named Mac Jones as a starter. They did that a couple of days ago. I don't see why Mac Jones wouldn't start. If you go back and you look at his numbers, this guy's a talent. He can absolutely do the job. He played mop-up for Tua last year, and in some games he was in almost before the half. So, I mean, the guy can play. He's put a ton of points on the board. He knows what he's doing. He's the next guy in line. I don't really see any reason why the offense will hitch at all, and I don't see any reason why Missouri's will increase, especially against the Bama defense. The Bama defense lost some stuff last year, but nothing they're not used to. It's going to be business as usual. Missouri's going to go home in a box, and that's it. I mean, that's pretty much the whole thing. I think. Let me pull it up here. I think they're playing at Missouri, Alabama at Missouri. So they're playing it at completely rotted field or faux rot field or for rot field, whatever your name. They're going to be looking to finish that game and be out of there by 8 o'clock and heading back home to have Cheerios and waffles. So yeah, that's pretty much the whole nine. I think that's everything. Was there any games out there that really kind of jumped out at you?
Not really. Not outside of the top 25. Not this week.
I do want to see App State play. They're playing a no-name team, Campbell, but I want to see what App State does. I think they might deserve to be in the top 25, but I'm going to reserve conviction on that for a little bit. You got to keep Dylan Moses healthy. He'll be fine. Robbie F said UGA's best team this century were the year where Rick Murray lost the SEC championship game to Bama, and the year UGA played Hawaii in the Sugar Bowl with Stafford and Noshawn. Yes, the year that we played and we lost to Alabama on like the 7 or 9 yard line, and then I remember the T-shirts. There was T-shirts that were made of a big ticked off Georgia Bulldog animated and a big elephant animated, and they were just nose to nose. And they had their sleeves rolled up like they were fixing a fight. And there was a little bitty leprechaun at their feet. And they said, one of us will be with you in just a moment. I remember those T-shirts because that's exactly what happened. The two of us got in a wonderful, wonderful shootout game. I enjoyed that game thoroughly. And then Alabama proceeded to I can't use that kind of profanity on this channel. They absolutely destroyed Notre Dame, which is what Georgia would have done. Both teams are very similar that year. Both teams had a lot of talent that year, and Notre Dame had nothing. But yeah. What's up, Travis Goff? He says, do y'all think we're going to get an opportunity to see all 5 of our running backs on Saturday? I don't know. Maybe. That's a possibility. Hey, do me a favor if you've been here this long, hit like, subscribe, thumbs up, share. I really appreciate you guys on the channel. Don't forget you can join the member section, support the channel, and we'll be glad to introduce you guys to some of the additional content we provide in the members only section, which I got to find a way to get you a membership, Keith. We got to get you set up for that. That way we can have Keith do some stuff behind the scenes if he wants to add some content to the channel as well.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Well, we're rocking on about an hour and a half here. It's been a great time, great night. That's our predictions this week. We will revisit these next week and kind of see how we did. But yeah, for sure. Anything you want to add, Keith?
No. Well, I do actually want to get a shout out to my Atlanta Braves for clinching the East. For everybody that don't know, I'm a big Braves fan.
Absolutely.
Big baseball fan, but big Braves fan. Clinching the East 3 times in a row. So
yeah,
let's get us a World Series.
Oh yeah, I'd love to see it, man. I wish we could go to a game, but I'll just have to settle for sending in a cardboard cutout.
That's right.
Keith's wife, I believe, has a cardboard cutout in the stands. Did you guys ever locate it? Did you actually get to see it yet?
Yeah. It's actually just it's down the third base line. So every now and then when a right-handed batter is batting, if they pan up just a little bit, you can see it. It's up a few rows, so it's not very recognizable. But yeah, it's out there for sure. They're giving it back. They're giving it back to us too.
Oh, that's cool.
It's going to be a really cool piece of sports memorabilia for sure.
Yeah, you're gonna have to put that in the backdrop there, man.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Reasonable Gump says, "Do I like the Falcons? I used to, but it's kind of like that girlfriend that's broke your heart so many times. You get together and then you break up, and you get together, you break up, and you're like, you know what? I'm just done with you. I'm just done. Enough of this."
I'll be a Falcons fan again once Arthur Blank gets rid of Quinn. That's got to happen at this point. I mean,
yeah, it's embarrassing. I feel like the Browns. Kyle Robertson says, "Who do I think will start for UGA on Saturday?" I'm pulling for DeJuan Mathis. I believe it'll be him. I think he fits what Todd Monken needs to do at UGA. I think he doesn't want a pocket quarterback. I think that if he looks at what he has in the stable for running backs, he's gonna opt for a mobile quarterback because he can really utilize powerful running backs, a mobile quarterback, and he's got some great receivers out there. It'll make the offense look dynamic. And if you look at what some of the players have said, they've said the same thing, that nobody has seen an offense like what Georgia has coming. So that makes me tend to believe that they're not going to go with that typical pocket passer.
Yeah, don't forget, Mathis has a strong arm too.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, very strong arm. So
I'm every time I think about that guy, I'm just floored by his whole story. It just blows me away. There was something else I was going to bring up. Before you guys jump off the channel, I like to periodically kind of give a nod in the direction of something that's important to me. If you guys, what's going on, Steve Pearson? Guys, go over and look at the website for missing and exploited children. Check out those posters over there. See if there's anybody you recognize. If you have any information, any content, you can maybe bring some of these kids home. Recently, there's been a lot of sex rings that have been busted that are bringing, 30 and 40 kids home at a time. And all of that stuff is really from the general public, just keeping their eyes open and being aware of it. If you can bring even one child home, it's more than worth it. Taking a few minutes every time. Missing and exploited children, we really have to look after our little people. They are absolutely targeted and exploited by some of the sickest people in the world. So go check that out. If you guys can help somebody, please help somebody. We'd greatly appreciate it. And I'm sure they would too. So anything else? Keith, you good?
I'm good, man.
All right, guys.
Go Dogs.
We'll see you guys. We'll be doing a live show, obviously on Saturday. We'll do some stuff here and there. Keith is always welcome to join in that. We'll see how we do then. So you guys have a great day. Where's the button? God bless. Go Dogs.